And we're on.
Fabulous.
I think we're on.
Everyone.
Yes, hello.
Let's
make sure we're on.
Yep.
Oh, I have to refresh. Yes, we're on.
All right, let's make
There
sure
we
our
are.
comments work,
Okay.
because I just posted one. So,
It's saying that there's one.
yep, but it's not showing up. Okay, so we'll get started in just a second. We want to make sure we can see comments because...
Yeah.
Hey,
there
there's
it is.
Kara. Hello.
I see Kara, but I don't see yours.
That's weird.
Overview.
Okay.
Live chat. Your replies.
Okay. Hey, if live chat is working,
Well, we
let's
have
go with
Kara's.
it. Oh, maybe because I commented on the wrong thing. I don't know.
What? Oh, yeah. Let's see what you...
Hey, okay, we're seeing comments. Hello, everyone.
Oh, you know what it is? I think you posted on the one that's in dysphagia support.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And
cool.
I'm on
Okay.
the other. So you need to be on the duo page
Okay. Yep.
to comment
Okay.
and us see it.
Yep. You're right. All right, so I'm going to close down my laptop because I don't need to be distracted tonight. So, hi, everybody. Welcome back to Wednesday night. I had started the video from last week to take a look. And the first thing that we had said last week was, it's been a rough day. And right now, we're both feeling that
That was not a rough day.
that was not a rough day.
Because since then, it's been a rough week.
So we are going to talk tonight about setbacks. We also want to do some Q&A. So if you have questions, please pop them in the chat and let's talk. Let's answer your questions.
We want all questions, any question, any subject about dysphagia, of course.
Yes. So if we have any new live attendees, or even if you're watching the replay, I'm Kat Ludwig. I'm a registered dietitian and chef.
And I am Stephanie Pepper, and I am a speech language pathologist.
And we love helping our people with dysphagia. It is the highlight of my week. I love talking about it. I love talking about how we help people. I love talking to people to help them.
It's all we really want to do.
It is all we really want to do, which is making our rough week.
Which is making our weeks even rougher.
Yeah. So I'll just give you a little hi, Janet, Kara, Brittany, whoever else is on, please say hello. So I got stuck in the United Airlines mishap mess on the West Coast, and I drove from Chicago at 3 a.m. home this morning, and I got home at 5 a.m. I slept for 2.5 hours, and then I went to work. And I did get an hour and a half nap in today. So I'm a little fuzzy, but I am here. I'm excited. It's like...
Her brilliance is not dulled one bit. Good morning from Australia.
Hello.
I was in Australia. When was I in Australia?
End of February, beginning of March.
What part of Australia?
Hi, Mama Patty.
Christine Nibbs. Okay. I was in Sydney and the Gold Coast.
Yeah. We're going to do some more traveling with Dysphagiaduo once we really are able to do this full time. So we're happy to have you. Tasmania. Fantastic.
Troy went to Tasmania. Yep. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Well, we're happy to have you, and thank you for joining us.
Yes. And if you have questions, food, liquid, swallowing, nutrition, wherever your mind goes, if you have questions, you hit us. So because I had originally wanted to talk about another topic, we're going to save that topic for when I am well rested and can do it some justice, because it's really important. So I think this is going to be next week. We're going to talk about feeding tubes.
Yes.
Because we have not talked about feeding tubes yet. And there are a lot of people that want to know about feeding tubes. So next week,
and have a lot of questions about should I, shouldn't I, why should I, why shouldn't I?
Do I have to use formula? Can I make my own?
Can I still eat?
There are so many questions. So we're going to hit that hard next week. Tonight, we are doing some leftovers.
Empty your fridge.
Yeah. So I pulled some some blanched spinach out of my freezer. I have it on a pot back here on the stove in some water. We have, Stephanie had some leftover braised chicken.
It's pulled chicken.
Pulled, so roasted, pulled,
braised.
Something like that. With some seasoning on it. It smells amazing.
It's just spicy.
She had some sauce in her fridge. So we're going to heat up. I'm going to sneeze. I apologize. I'm going to put this sweet potato in the microwave.
Look at the light.
Wow. Okay, cool. I've never.
We're both like, what do we do?
Steph, I'm going to spill. Steph had a small tornado come through her yard and hit her house this weekend.
It didn't hit my house.
It didn't hit the house, but it went.
It just sucked the paint off the house.
So they're missing paint. They were missing paint off the house. It has since been corrected, but they got a bunch of trees down. The neighbor had a tree fall in the house. And then the puppy got sick yesterday. So, yeah. And then work's been crazy. So it's just like one thing after another. So this is why we want to talk about setbacks tonight. So the first thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to grab a knife. Actually, I'm going to grab one of these ones because it's going to be sharper. And I'm going to just shred. This is like 4-ish ounces of chicken. I'm going to just shred this so it's smaller. It's easier for the blender. And if you need it minced and moist, you could just do this minced and moist instead of pureeing it if you don't need that.
Right. So I'll tell you that that's just done in the Instant Pot. I put chicken breasts in the Instant Pot with a little bit of liquid. I just use plain water because I put so much spice in it. But you could put chicken stock. You could put soy sauce. You could put whatever you want.
Okay.
And I cook it. I pressure cook it and then pull it. Yeah. And it's perfect. I add it to salads. I have it for quesadillas. I have it for
And if you don't have a pressure cooker, you can just put it in a Dutch oven, cover it about halfway with water, turn it on low heat either on the stove or put it in the oven with a lid on the pot and just let it go for like 6 hours. You may want to flip it halfway through, but it'll get nice and tender. So this is just well chopped. So if I take my fork here and put it through the tines, it goes through the tines of the fork, which makes it minced and moist. So I'm now going to put this back in my, yes, I did wash my hands before I did this, I promise. Back in my bowl. So anytime you are pureeing chicken, you want to add extra fat because chicken, especially chicken breast, has that sort of gritty texture. And we're also going to add sauce, and this sauce does have some oil on it, which is going to be beautiful. So I'm going to add a little bit of oil to our pan. And this probably won't need to go very long. How's that bad boy doing?
Well, I mean, it's so tiny.
It cooked real fast. Great. Perfect. I love it. And it's a little bit wrinkly, so it needs to be
it'll peel
smushed
easily
with some olive oil or some butter or something.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to add this chicken to the saute pan. So Steph, let's talk about setbacks because setbacks are something we talk about with our clients.
Yep.
A lot.
Everybody has them.
We have them. You have them. Parents, friends, teachers, kids, doctors, random homeless guy on the street. Like, literally everyone on the planet
has a setback.
For something. At some point.
So, So we just want to make sure that you understand that just because there's a setback doesn't mean that you have to stay there. So our goal is to teach you how to manage your dysphagia, if you have to live with dysphagia. Now, can you improve and not have dysphagia anymore? It's possible. I've known people who've trained right out of it.
It depends on the person.
Right. But if you're living with dysphagia, and even if you don't have dysphagia anymore, there could be times that you still have troubles. Our goal is to help you know how to manage that and get back to where you once were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So
the first thing that we do, I posted a reel yesterday. It was my Tuesday tip, and I posted that because it directly helped me yesterday. My flight Monday night was canceled. I got put in on another flight, and then they had me with a 13-hour layover 2 hours away. I'm not sitting in an airport for 13 hours when I could drive home, sleep in my own bed.
Right.
So yes, I was exhausted, but was I frustrated? Yes. Was I angry for a minute? Yes. Did I want to just throw a temper tantrum? Yes. But
I would have gone to pick her up, but she didn't call.
I didn't call. Yeah. So the first thing I did was I took a minute, closed my eyes, and I breathed in through my nose, held it for a second, and then breathed out through my mouth. And then I did it over and over again until my brain calmed down, my anxiety calmed down, my tension decreased, and my blood pressure came back down. And I did that multiple times throughout the last 48 hours. Yeah. Because we are not able to actively make good decisions when we're emotional and when we're anxious. Is it possible to make good decisions when you do that? Yes, it is. However, not usually.
Not recommended.
Yeah. So,
because the chance of it going the other direction is great.
Yeah. All right. So this chicken is hot. So I'm going to just let it sit back here and cool slightly because we don't want to put hot in our blend jet. We use the blend jet because it works super well.
Yes.
It's our favorite.
For small quantities, for a single quantity, it's worth it.
And then I'm going to turn on
that. Oh, that's spinach.
Spinach. That's right. Because not everybody likes spinach. But we're going to...
That's actually more spinach than I expected it to be.
Yeah, I know.
The little pucks that you had of spinach.
We might add a little more sauce to this depending on what happens. Yeah.
It's the best sauce ever.
We like sauce. So tell us about the sauce. What kind of sauce is it?
Well, we made... Is it pronounced burrilla? Burrilla tacos?
Yes.
Okay, so we made burrilla tacos. So this is the jus from the burrilla tacos, from the meat. No meat left because we ate all of that, but it made a lot of jus. So this is leftover from that.
I found smoked paprika and onion with garlic and pepper in your cupboard, so I'm going to put that in the spinach.
Excellent.
Yes.
Good call.
Yes. So we like flavor. With the spinach, I'm also going to add some fat. I'm going to add olive oil because it's a healthier option. My favorite DDs. You're cute, Susie. I was at Susie's house. I spoke at one of her events on Saturday, which was why I was on the West Coast. And the event went beautifully. And then getting back was difficult with the whole United debacle.
And it wasn't just from the West Coast that happened.
No, it started on the East Coast. Mm-hmm. So 150,000 flights were affected. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. Whether you have dysphagia, whether you're flying, whether you have a bad day at work, whether something's going on with your children or your pets or your loved one. A lot of you know my husband was sick last month. These are all setbacks. The difference is how you continue to move forward makes all the difference. Now, if you have dysphagia and you don't know how to move forward, that's where we come in.
Right. We want to help you plan for it.
Plan, coach. We teach you techniques that you can use to get through it. And this sweet potato might not be any good.
What?
It might be just super dry and old.
Looks like it just needs some butter.
It needs some butter. It definitely needs some butter.
What doesn't taste better with butter? Well, there's one little spot.
There's a brown spot. And normally I wouldn't cross-contaminate, but this is all going to be eaten together, and it was cooked chicken, so I'm not concerned about that part. If it's raw chicken, you always get rid of the knife and clean the knife. And the cutting board. And the... Okay, so typically when you cook a sweet potato, the skin should come off
very easily.
Very, very easily.
It was an older sweet potato.
It was a little wrinkly and sad. So it's going to be better pureed anyway.
And anytime you puree something, by adding a little bit of fat, I'm going to add a little bit of butter. It's going to help it to be smoother.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're not going to use the whole thing, and that's okay. I'm going to get rid of part of it. It's fine. Okay. Okay.
Such a little tiny bit.
It's a little tiny bit. I'm not sure it's going to work. I could have just mashed this with a fork in a bowl, probably, and it would have worked the same way. Should we do a little bit of salt and pepper?
It's salted. It's salted better, so add a little bit more, please, because I'm all about the salt.
Normally I'm not, but we're also finding that when you puree things, you need to season them with extra.
A little bit extra. That's true.
So we're gonna see how this goes.
It's gonna need.
It's gonna need some liquid, I think. So if you have plain milk or oat milk, that would be okay to put in here. Soy milk would work okay too. Or you could use some chicken stock or some vegetable stock. If you don't have any of that, water works great in a pinch. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's not on quite all the way. Oh, there it goes. So if the blender is not on all the way and you push the button, it'll blink red. So you just have to adjust it. Mine, however, I don't know if you can see this or not. The arrows don't line up, so they don't always. All right. So I'm going to do spinach first. And because I have the spinach in water, I could have done it in chicken stock or something like that. Ooh.
I don't have milk. With everything that's happened, I don't have milk in my house.
So, but let's talk about this because
I have coffee made.
Not having milk is a setback.
Yeah,
but
so we're going to use non-dairy creamer.
Does
Vanilla flavored.
Does it have...
No, it's original.
Does it have sweetener in it?
What?
Because it's a sweet potato. If it does, that's going to be delicious. I mean, sweet potatoes typically do well with a little bit of...
It's got less than 1 gram of sugar.
Yeah.
So we're going to see.
Sweet potatoes are great with maple syrup. I did some on the grill over the weekend, and with some salt and pepper and olive oil, and then I just drizzled maple syrup over the top.
I did not put the top on it because it's hot.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing here. So anytime you're blending anything hot, do not seal it because it will create pressure and it will cause an injury. Do not get hurt. It is not worth it. So if you have a blender like a Vitamix or a Ninja, and a lot of other ones have a little hole in the top too. Mm-hmm. If you have just a traditional blender, you're gonna have to blend things for like 5 minutes, okay? Because traditional blenders don't blend super well. The sweet potatoes were great. I know. And they were super simple. Sometimes simple is better than fancy, right?
Right, and we didn't really add a lot. I mean, you could add brown sugar to it.
All right, so I'm going to blend this one now, and we're going to see how this goes. All right, so spinach is a very fibrous vegetable. I'm going to blend this multiple times. This goes for about 20 seconds. can smell the seasoning in there. So with setbacks, the breathing is helpful. Having a healthcare provider in your corner that can walk you through what to do, what to eat, can be very, very helpful. So if you don't need your puree perfectly smooth, it's probably fine the way it is. It's gonna have a little bit of texture in it. If you can handle a little bit of texture, great. If you need it pureed even more, we're gonna blend it like 2 or 3 more times, okay? So it's all up to you and what you can tolerate. What textures can you tolerate? What temperatures can you tolerate? So pureed does not mean smooth.
It doesn't have to be smooth. Some people need smooth puree, but that's...
Yes. And so would you hold up the IDDSI framework here? So this framework goes from 0 to 4 for drinks and 3 to 7 for liquids. And pureed could be just that your food is pureed. We did pureed chicken in the nursing home, and it was not perfectly smooth, but it was pureed. Is that appropriate for everyone? No. Right. There are different levels within the levels.
There are. They're not official, but there are. And for those of you who know that, you know it well.
Yeah. So for liquids, last week we used this funnel to test out liquids and to show you what the differences are. So if it stays at the top and doesn't flow, it's a level 4, which is a pureed, or an extremely thick, or pudding thick is what we used to call it. Mm-hmm. So if it would flow a little bit and be between 8 milliliters and 10 milliliters, it would be considered moderately thick or liquidized. But an 8 and up to the 10 are still considered the same level. And then you have level 2, which is the mildly thick, or honey thick, as we used to call it. And that's between 4 milliliters and 8 milliliters. That's a wide range. For someone who has a very nuanced, specific need for their texture and their thickness, 4 is very different from 7, okay? And then you have level 1, which is slightly thick, I believe. Yeah, I'm glad I have the cheat sheet here. Which is between 1 and 4. Also very different levels. Now thin, if all of it runs out, it's thin. But it's very important to do a little bit of experimenting to figure out where you are. So now I know there are a couple of people that we know from some of our Facebook Lives and in the other dysphagia support groups that are on Facebook, that they, depending on where they're at on that day, they could be a soft and bite-sized, or they could be a liquidized. So if you are having a setback, if your swallowing is worse, if you're having an allergy problem, if you're having an illness, if you have a day where you're weaker than normal,
we want you to know how to manage that.
And how to taper back.
Right. It's okay. It's just a day.
Right.
It's just a day. Take a deep breath in. It's just a day. Don't let that be the way you make it continue just because you're anxious that it will be. Yeah. Tomorrow may be soft and bite-sized again.
Right. So, okay, let me finish this spinach. What do you got here?
So this tastes really good. There's not enough there for me to blend it again. I would have to add so much liquid that it wouldn't taste. But taste it. It tastes really good. Even with the non-dairy creamer, it actually has a really good flavor. It's very rich.
And it doesn't need the sweetness. That butter added just the right amount of umami texture, and the creamer. See, use what you have on hand. This is the other thing. If you don't know what to do, take a look at what's in your pantry. All right. Now this is pretty darn thick.
Did you add thickener to it?
No.
Oh.
I did not add thickener to it.
So this is the thickener that we've been using. It's called Thick. There's also another one called Dysphagia that we like a lot. So if you have something that ends up being too thin, you could add a little bit of this. It has the directions on for how much for the thickness that you need.
But depending on the liquid, it may not work out well.
Right.
So you need to do a little bit of experimenting.
Right. Like milk will...
Hand me a cute little glass, please.
Oh,
and we'll
indeed.
pour this bad boy. So I think we should pour our chicken into the sweet potato one and get some of that texture and flavor in our chicken. What do you think about that?
I'm good with it.
Okay.
You mean not wash it?
Yeah, not wash it.
I'm all about not washing it.
Because the flavor's still going to be there.
Sure.
Okay.
Let me just scoop some of that.
Okay, and my liquid's all gone, so we're definitely going to need to add more liquid, okay? So with the blender, I have this thing where I say, blend it again, blend it again. There are a couple of things you don't want to blend again. Potatoes are one of them. Mm-hmm. Rice is one of them. Pasta, you want to blend it just enough and not again.
Right.
It takes experimentation and nuance. It's my word today, apparently. I like it. I don't know what's going on. All right, so I think we should add a little bit more of this sauce.
Do you have a spoon?
I can get a spoon. How about this bad boy?
How about
I won't do it lefty. It's not a good day for me to experiment being a lefty. It's probably not even a good day for me to use my right hand, to be honest. Whew. The exhaustion is real, let me tell you, friends.
Oh, there's little pieces of the meat in there, too.
There is. Okay.
So good.
Hey, when you have flavor, this is the other thing. You can take this sauce that you have left over from something else and you can freeze it.
You can freeze it in little ice cube trays, and then that way you have a little bit.
We probably need more than that. Maybe I'll just pour it.
Just pour it in.
Oh, there is a big piece of beef in there.
It's lamb.
Lamb. Cool. So meat will tend to get a little bit thicker as well.
How hot is it? It's not super hot.
It's not super hot because the sauce is still cold.
Oh, that's true.
Okay. Let me hold that and you taste that.
It's very smooth.
It's very smooth. And I didn't add any fat to that.
And it came through pretty smooth. It's
It's
got a good flavor.
Really smooth and beautiful. And the seasoning blend
Came through.
was really nice.
It's really good. If you like spinach, it's got a very strong spinach taste.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like spinach a lot, but you know that your body needs the nutrients in it, you can add a little bit of cream to that and have cream spinach.
Yeah, a little bit of garlic.
A little bit of garlic, a little bit of bacon grease.
Yeah, it'll give you some calories and it's highly nutritious.
A little bit
Yeah,
of bacon
so
grease, not a lot.
I cooked 2 servings also of spinach, just because I had it. So yeah. So if
It's thinning out.
it is
smoothing out.
it is smoothing out. If you are doing chicken and it's too thin, this is where a thickener packet comes in. You don't have to add the whole packet. Okay. So what else do I want to say about setbacks? I feel like there's definitely something else. I'm going to steal your spatula here.
So when you have a setback, you just need to go back to the things that you were taught
Before.
So it's helping yourself to get to that frame of mind that you were in when you were progressing through those stages. Get yourself back to that. Focus on it because you know that those things that you did worked.
Yep. Absolutely.
So there's no reason why they wouldn't work again.
Right. Okay. So this will be the 3rd blend.
Okay.
Right?
Did you try it yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
All right. So it's 20 seconds per blend. All right. We're going to give it a shot here. I think it's still, I don't know. It might just be thin. That's all. It's got some texture. I can already see it. But it's not as, That's warm.
Yummy.
Spice wise.
Yeah, it's definitely got that chicken
Grit to it.
dryness feel.
If you need totally smooth, use chicken thighs because they're a little bit more moist. There's more fat in them, and they're gonna get smoother when you puree them. So chicken thighs.
And we didn't add any extra fat to this.
We did not.
There's a little bit in the sauce, but not that much left.
Just what I used to saute them, but the flavor is great. So you have here a well-balanced pureed meal, and not all the colors are the same. The sweet potato and the chicken are similar, but this green adds a really nice brightness, and if you put them together, the flavor's outstanding.
Yeah.
And you could layer them in a dish. We didn't bring our dishes tonight because it's just one of those days.
We didn't really know what we were going to do.
Yeah. I wanted to do one of those, let's see what we have on hand, because there are always things that, that we can
They are
talk
good
about.
together.
A little bit of sweet potato and chicken.
You know, sometimes we layer them in the bowl or in the cup, but you can layer it on your spoon
Yeah.
just as easily.
Yeah. And if you need these a little thicker, add a little bit of the thickener to them. Put it in a Ziploc bag or a piping bag. Cut off the tip and pipe it onto your plate so it looks beautiful. Yeah. There are ways to make it look very appetizing.
And if you don't, use what you have. If you don't have thickener, you don't have to typically have to thicken your liquids, so you don't necessarily keep this on hand. One of the things that I can recommend for you is to have potato flakes, like instant mashed potatoes will thicken any of this stuff up. But you have to be careful not to add too much, but add a few potato flakes and that will help to thicken it.
Now, if you're cooking things, you can add something like white rice flour or cassava flour or cornstarch or arrowroot, or I could go on. So these typically need to be cooked to a higher temperature in order for them to gel completely. The cereal starches, which include rice flour, wheat, cornstarch, they thicken the best at like 196 degrees. They'll start to thicken lower than that, but if you want it all the way thick, you got to get it hot. Root starches like potato starch, cassava flour, and arrowroot, they thicken closer to like 156 degrees.
So you don't have to get them as hot.
Correct. Yeah, so you do not have to get it boiling. Now, rice flour tastes like rice. If you don't want the taste of rice in your food, use something like arrowroot or cornstarch. Hot tip for the day. So if you have a setback, the other thing I really, really want to convey is that you need support. You need your person. Suzanne couldn't have gotten through the last couple of days without you and your wonderful husband. Stephanie could not have gotten through the month of May without you. All of you that work with us, we want you to have the support you need. Does that mean that you have to work with us one-on-one? No. Are you going to get fantastic support working with us one-on-one? You bet. Yes.
But just have your person watch this video with you on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And they will understand maybe a little more.
And reach out to us. Send us an email. Send us a text message. Send us a message on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or TikTok even, because we are working on posting some things on TikTok. We're learning.
We do have some things on TikTok.
So it's really, really important that you have what you need. Oh, speaking of phone numbers, my notification for the weekly live event ended because in May I was a little bit distracted and couldn't quite keep up with what was going on. So I forgot to put the next step in the workflow. And so I need to have everyone that wants to be notified go back in and sign up again. So if you have any trouble with that, reach out to us, let us know. We'll help you out. So you are going to have a setback of some kind. It's part of life. One of the things that we tell our clients is when you solve one problem, two more pop up. We feel that this week. We understand that life is really hard and you need support, but we teach our people how to address solving that problem so that you're not blindsided the next time it happens, because it's going to happen. We don't believe in traditional healthcare discharging people. We believe that if you need help, you should have access. And so that's one of the reasons we love Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, is because literally you can send us a message and we'll see it right away for the most part.
Yeah.
Our phones notify us. Who knew? So
that's true.
Hang in there, everybody. We are here for you. We love you. We know you're going to have setbacks. We have them too.
We're here to support you.
And we're here to support you.
Reach out. We'll try to talk you through it, work through it with you.
Yep. And maybe it's not right for you to work with us. Maybe you just need some direction. Mm-hmm. We can do that too. We don't want to force people to work with us if that's not what they need. We want to do what's best for you, because
we met with someone
this week.
Was that this week? Was that this week?
It was this week, yeah.
We met with someone this week and we actually referred her to some people in her area, just because we feel like working with someone face to face was what she needed.
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't want to steer anyone in the wrong direction. We want what's best for you, and we want what's best for us.
Yeah.
And all the people in our lives. So we're here for you. Please reach out to us if you need anything. And we'll see you next week, where we're going to talk about feeding tubes. So,
yes, we are.
Have a great week, y'all. I'm going to eat a little more of this.
It's
the
good.
flavor turned out fabulous. You could buy just a jar of stuff at the store